You know, usually when you picture a professional video shoot, you're expecting a certain level of, like, chaos, right?
Oh, totally. The heavy machinery, the lighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You picture cables snaking across the floor, massive lenses, a director yelling action, and, like, enough lighting gear to safely land a commercial airplane.
Right, because it's an industrial process. Or, well, at least it was. For decades, it required a very specific, highly specialized crew to run all that equipment.
But then you look at the landscape of content creation right now, and suddenly that Hollywood soundstage is it's just gone.
Completely vanished.
We are looking at a production reality that is almost unrecognizable from even a few years ago. And so, welcome to today's deep dive. We are unpacking a huge stack of sources today.
Yeah, lots of ground to cover.
We've got App Store updates, blog posts, and tutorial transcripts from as recently as May 2026. And it's all centered around this single app called Detail.
Which is making huge waves, by the way.
Right, it just won Apple's iPad App of the Year. And our mission today is to really examine how this one piece of software literally replaces an entire professional video production crew using the devices that are, probably sitting on your desk right now.
It is a fascinating case study, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, we are watching the collapse of a massive capital barrier.
Mhm.
For the longest time, producing high-quality video was just a hardware problem. It was about who had the budget for physical switchers, external monitors, and, like, dedicated editing bays.
Yeah, the expensive stuff.
Exactly. Detail turns all of those physical hardware problems into software solutions. It shifts the entire dynamic so that production quality is no longer determined by your budget, but strictly by your ideas.
Which means whether you are looking to start a podcast or create quick reaction videos or even just make your remote work presentations look highly produced, the technical barrier to entry has officially been destroyed.
It's totally gone.
But to understand how that actually works, we need to look at how Detail handles the camera hardware itself. Because there's this classic creator dilemma.
Right, the front versus back camera issue.
Exactly. The best camera you own is the back camera of your iPhone. The sensor is larger, the lenses are vastly superior to the front-facing one. But if you turn the phone around to film yourself, you are flying blind.
Right, you can't see the screen.
It's basically like trying to paint a self-portrait blindfolded. You're just, like, hoping you're in the frame.
You're hoping your framing is right, hoping the focus hasn't drifted to the background, and, hoping the sun hasn't gone behind a cloud and ruined your lighting.
Yeah, it's stressful. Okay, let's unpack this, because historically, the fix was to buy a standalone external monitor.
Yeah.
Right? You'd run a micro HDMI cable out of the phone and figure out how to mount it.
It was incredibly clunky and expensive.
Super clunky. But here is how Detail attacks that problem. It basically turns your iPad into a wireless, real-time monitor for your iPhone. You connect the two wirelessly, mount the iPhone, and use the iPad to check framing, adjust lighting, and just hit record.
And the underlying networking there is really important. This isn't like bouncing a signal to a cloud server and back down, which would introduce a massive delay.
Oh, right. That would lag terribly.
Exactly. It's a localized peer-to-peer connection. But this isn't just about monitoring a single camera. What's fascinating here is that it's actually a multi-angle networking tool.
Wait, so you can hook up multiple devices?
Yeah. You can connect two iOS devices, like an iPhone and an iPad, or two iPhones to record wide shots and close-ups simultaneously, and you don't even necessarily need two devices.
Okay, wait, how does that work?
You can use just one iPad to record from both the front and back cameras at the exact same time. It creates a perfect two-person podcast setup with a single piece of glass.
That is insane. I mean, pushing one 4K video stream is taxing enough on a mobile battery. How is a single iPad recording two entirely separate streams without melting?
It comes down to how the app utilizes the image signal processor inside modern M-series iPads. The ISP is specifically designed to handle massive amounts of pixel data with very little power.
Wow.
So Detail taps directly into those low-level camera APIs. You place the iPad in the middle of a table, the front camera records you, the back camera records your guest, and the processor handles both feeds in perfect sync.
Okay, so the hardware hack is sorted. But having a flawless multi-camera setup is really only step one, right? Because actually delivering your lines without sounding robotic is the next major hurdle.
Oh, definitely. Staring into a lens can be paralyzing. The red tally light goes on and your mind just blanks. We've all been there.
Yeah, you just forget how to speak English. So this leads us to the recording process itself, how Detail functions as an AI production assistant. If you stare at the camera and your mind goes blank, Detail has an AI director.
Which is such a lifesaver.
Right. You type in a rough idea like, I don't know, 5 tips for starting a podcast, and it actually asks clarifying questions to generate a structured, ready-to-read script for you.
It totally removes the friction of the blank page, which is where a lot of creators just abandon their projects entirely.
Okay, but I have to push back a little here. Generating a script is easy enough these days, but reading it, teleprompters usually make people look like they are filming a hostage video
That's a great point. They do.
because they're panic reading to keep up with the scrolling text. Right?
Yeah.
Your eyes are darting around. How does this AI script actually help if the delivery looks so unnatural?
Well, that's the exact flaw with traditional teleprompters. You are serving the machine's fixed pacing. But Detail uses a voice tracking feature. It actually listens to you as you speak.
Wait, it actively listens?
Yeah, it automatically adapts the scroll speed to your voice in real time. If you pause for dramatic effect, the teleprompter pauses right with you.
So if I completely go off script and just ad-lib, does it freak out?
Not at all. It just holds its position and waits until it hears you say the next phrase in the script, and then it instantly picks up tracking from that point.
Oh, wow. That drastically lowers the performance anxiety. So you've got the delivery nailed down. But here's where it gets really interesting, the visual side of things. There's this masking feature.
Ah, yes, the cinematic masking.
Right, so Detail's AI automatically removes backgrounds without a green screen. You can place text and auto captions behind you in the video.
Which is huge for social media.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How is it doing that so cleanly without a green screen?
It leverages the Apple neural engine to perform semantic segmentation. It basically analyzes the video feed dozens of times a second, instantly figuring out what pixels make up a human and what pixels make up the background.
So you just drag the text into the app, and it sandwiches it between you and the wall.
Exactly. And it instantly gives content this dynamic, cinematic motion graphics feel that stops social media scrollers in their tracks, especially since most videos are watched on mute.
Right, you need that visual hook. But capturing a great take with cool text behind you is only half the battle. Because historically, the real nightmare for creators is what happens after you hit stop.
The dreaded editing process. It's the ultimate bottleneck.
Oh, it's brutal. Transferring massive 4K files, syncing audio, and meticulously cutting out like every, and all the dead air. It takes hours.
It really does. But Detail claims to have automated this entirely with an auto-edit feature.
Yeah, tell me about this, because it sounds like having a tiny, exhausted TV producer living inside your iPad doing hours of busy work in a matter of seconds.
That's honestly a perfect analogy. For a talking head video, you literally tap a button, and the AI finds the best moments, removes the silences, and generates ready-to-share vertical shorts and long-form edits.
Okay, but what about podcasts? Like multi-speaker setups. If I have 2 people talking, how does it know when to cut? Volume-based switching is usually super jerky.
Right, volume switching is terrible if people talk over each other. Detail's auto-edit is much smarter. It listens to the audio, identifies the distinct biometric signatures of the different voices, and assigns them to speakers.
Oh, so it knows exactly who is talking, even if someone coughs or laughs.
Exactly. And it uses that data to automatically switch the camera angles or create split-screen layouts based on the rhythm of the conversation.
But wait, am I locked into whatever the AI decides? What if I wanted a wide shot for a specific moment, but it gave me a close-up?
You're definitely not locked in. Everything remains editable via this really intuitive touch timeline. You can tweak aspect ratios, trim clips, or swap layouts whenever you want. The AI just gives you a massive head start.
Okay, so the hardware is covered, the recording is guided, and the editing is automated.
Yeah.
The only thing left is actually putting it out into the world, right? Breaking that final barrier to entry.
Right, the publishing ecosystem.
I saw this one use case in sources that absolutely blew my mind. Creating reaction videos in 15 seconds.
Oh, the native share sheet integration, it's brilliant.
Yeah. Normally, making a reaction video is a chore. You have to screen record, download the file, sync it up on a timeline. But with this, you just use the iOS share sheet right from YouTube or Instagram, send the URL to Detail, and bam.
Yeah. Within 15 seconds, the video is imported behind you. You're completely ready for a split screen or a picture-in-picture reaction without any screen recording or manual syncing required.
It's like magic. Now, for the listener who might feel a bit overwhelmed by all this tech, the networking, the AI, it sounds expensive, but the bare bones gear guide is actually wild.
It really is. According to Detail's own guides, all you truly need is the iPhone and the app.
And maybe a tripod.
Yeah, a $20 tripod, like a small rig, just to keep things steady. And if you want pristine audio, maybe a $100 wireless mic, like the Hollyland Lark, that's literally it.
So assuming you have the phone, it's basically a $120 investment for a professional studio. But the publishing gets even crazier with this brand new integration called Subwave.
The Subwave integration is a total game changer for distribution.
Right. When you hit export, Subwave can automatically turn your video podcast into a written article, a newsletter, and an audio podcast episode, all completely ready for your followers.
Which means one video asset becomes a multi-platform media empire in minutes. And this raises an important question, right? What happens to the creator economy when the economy part is no longer a barrier? When professional multicam production no longer requires a professional price tag, the playing field is entirely leveled. Anyone with a good idea can compete with the biggest studios.
So what does this all mean? Let's recap. Detail essentially transforms the iPhone and iPad into a wireless monitor, a voice-tracking teleprompter, an automatic editor, and a publishing powerhouse.
It's an entire production company in your backpack, and it leaves you with a really fascinating thought to chew on. For decades, the media landscape was dictated by the people who own the printing presses and the broadcast towers, right?
Yeah, the gatekeepers.
Exactly. But now, the broadcast tower is sitting in your pocket, fully automated by AI. If the only limit left is your own creativity, what story are you going to tell the world tomorrow?
I love that. The tech is out of the way, so the ideas actually matter again. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep learning, keep questioning, and above all, keep creating. We'll see you next time.